Disney's gonna have bought Sony by then.
Because I'm gonna get you all! Ho ho!
Are you sad about all this Spider-Man news, or are you just confused as all hell? I talked about this in a previous video, but here's some more updated information on exactly what the F is going on with the Sony Pictures and Disney Spider-Man deal. I mean, come on! Cosmic Book News reports that Sony was offered another deal by Disney in order to keep Spidey in the MCU. Neither studio wants Spider-Man to fall through their grasp. Oh, sorry Gwen. Their offer is reportedly a 7-picture deal with new Avengers films and his appearance at the D23 Expo, which is ongoing currently, plus more, which is obviously going to be probably cameos or appearances in other MCU films. Seeing him pop up in the Spider-Verse or a Venom movie would be great, or all of that popping up in the MCU would be amazing. So this info first came from the YouTube channel Lords of the Long Box, and they say they have an inside source who has connections at Disney and Marvel. Also, Tom Holland and Robert Downey Jr. may have taken a stance or confirmed that there might be a new deal by posting a picture of them together. Actually, 4 pictures of them, and one of them in there happens to be of them holding each other's action figures. Apparently, Tom Holland and Zendaya both unfollowed Sony on Instagram as well. And you don't unfollow someone on Instagram or social media if you ain't pissed at them. So if that information is true, then that means they took a hard stance against Sony, but it's not necessarily Sony's fault. Now, Disney did want 50-50, that does make sense, but I do feel like because Sony does own the IP and they've owned it for so long, they should get a little bit bigger chunk of the change, considering the MCU does have a lot more. They just need to collaborate together, have all the characters work together in the entire universe, just share everything. That's really what everybody wants. Isn't that what you want? That's certainly what I want. That's certainly what we want here. So I believe that that's what they should do. Just work together, get everybody in the same universe like it's supposed to be, just like the comics. I don't think you're going to get any complaints then. Also, there are going to be 3 more Spider-Man films after Spider-Man 3, which will be a whole new trilogy, which I am completely okay with. Give us 200 of them, no problem. This second trilogy will try to focus on Peter Parker's college years, which is obvious because he'll be a little bit older at that time, and that's how time goes, unless it's Endgame. And if the news of him teaming up with Firestar and Iceman of the X-Men in this new trilogy are true, then I'm on board, yes. He's also supposed to be in 2 more Avengers movies, which I don't believe they'll be called Avengers. I believe they'll come up with a different team name after that. I think Avengers is over. It's also saying in these new Avengers movies, he'll become good friends with Johnny Storm, the Human Torch from Fantastic Four, which we obviously know is going to come into the MCU, which I have an amazing theory on, or a hope for. I hope that, alright, Ant-Man and Michael Pena Louise are driving in the van. It gets repaired after Endgame, okay? And they're driving in the van and they hit a speed bump, and all of a sudden the back of the van opens up and the Fantastic Four just fly out of it, just completely out of nowhere, and everybody's like, what the hell? And then it turns out that they've been working with Hank Pym since like the 60s, maybe early 70s, and they got trapped in the quantum realm, and that's how they got all their powers and everything. And I think it would be a great way to introduce them into the MCU, but I also think it'd be, a humorous way, but it wouldn't be to the point where it's so funny or like any point of disrespectful for these iconic characters. I genuinely think for the MCU, that would be the perfect way to bring these guys in, and gal. It would be great to bring them in that way. I think it'd be the most ridiculous, fun way, but it would completely make sense. Then you don't have to do anything with them like going up in space and getting powers. You don't have to try that over again. You have something new, something that already fits into the MCU. I don't know. I mean, that's just my idea. Disney originally wanted the deal to be 50-50, and Sony didn't want that, so that's why this whole deal fell apart in the first place. Now they just want it to be 30-70, which I think makes perfect sense. The deal also states Sony would distribute, but Disney will acquire exclusive digital and online rights for Disney Plus and affiliated TV networks. Marvel Studios will helm and co-finance Spider-Verse live-action spin-offs under the same terms. Now that's amazing, because I can't wait for more just Spider-Man related content. Venom wasn't fantastic, but it was pretty good. And speaking of Venom will also be relocated into the MCU. Now this is if this deal goes through. Sony will be given permission for TV live-action programs based on the Spider-Verse. Now that is amazing, because it'd be really cool to see Spider-Man in like a long-term serial form. And I'm pretty sure by now we're all okay with anything that's in a multiverse, so this whole Spider-Verse concept, we can totally understand that there's just a bunch of different Spider-Men and Spider-Ladies and Spider-People from all different dimensions. I find this interesting because Sony only owns the film rights to Spider-Man, not the TV rights, so I'd love to see what they could do in that playing field. Because that could do either really well or fall flat on its face. And I'm pretty sure Sony's gonna want to make as much money as they can, because if they get purchased by another company, they'll lose those rights back to Disney. Oh my god. What if Disney just buys Sony? I say that now, but I'm thinking if we look back in like 5 years from now on this video, Disney's gonna have bought Sony by then.
Because I'm gonna get you all. Ha ha!
Everybody thinks Disney just wants to take down Netflix, and can we just face the facts that Netflix has kind of become crap? And do you know what I'll be purchasing? Disney Plus, because that has the content that I want to watch on it. So in my opinion, Netflix is kind of taking themselves down. However, the Marvel shows on Netflix were fairly enjoyable. And even though those shows were canceled, there is a possibility they'll be coming to FX. This sounds like a great deal for Disney and Sony going forward. It really is all about that cash monies. But if they keep making the fans happy, they're gonna make all the money they could ever need. Which is probably over $1 billion for each movie. It's like that Kevin Costner movie with the baseball field and the corn, and no, I'm not saying the quote. For all we know, they could have already come to an agreement, and they're just going to announce it today at the Marvel panel at D23, which would be a great way to do that, and then it'll finally get everybody to calm down, but at least they hit the news pretty hard. So what do you think of all this? What do you take from all this? What are you worried about? What do you want to happen? What do you think's going to happen? Let me know down in the comments. Also, I kind of want to hear about what you think would happen if different Spider-Man characters or Spider-Verse characters were introduced in the MCU. Oh, and my Fantastic Four idea, which is perfect. And not because I'm being cocky, but because it's perfect. Ooh, look, you made it to the end. And I hear that hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel gives you magical powers, so I mean, it's worth a shot.